Hello guys, the 49th Gunner back again. We'll be discussing a little bit about Mikel's press conference in this video. I've just watched the conference, and first things first, the injuries are a real shame. One of the questions was some of the questions generally about the League Cup are always to do with, are you planning on rotating the squad? This cup doesn't mean as much. I think obviously the other cups, FA Cup is the most historic cup ever. Obviously the Champions League is the Champions League, and the Premier League, after coming second last season, we just certainly want to try and win that. But I think the League Cup's important. I think I'd really like to see us get the silverware, because we've already got the Community Shield in the bag. So I was impressed with Arteta. Arteta wants to win this, and he finds this as important as anything else. He's solely focused on the game. He said himself in the conference that he's taking it literally game by game. He was asked about Newcastle coming up, which is obviously going to be a tough fixture for us, but he takes it game by game. And that's something, as somebody who's a big fan of Mikel Arteta in general, that's something I love about him, is how he always says he's always dedicated to the one game, the one focus, and then when the game's finished, we go on to the next one. And that's, I think, the best way to go about managing in general. I think that's the way managers have got to be, really. We've got a few injuries. Obviously, we've got Jesus injured. We've got Thomas Partey's an absolute no-no for it. Mikel confirmed his start for a few weeks. He's trying everything to get fit again. And unfortunately, we're going to be without Partey, Jesus and Odegaard as well. Odegaard has a hip injury. That's why he wasn't in the game last week, the 5-0 win. It's a shame for the three of them, really. It's a shame for Partey. I've mentioned Partey being injured and his injuries being a sort of a constant factor for a while, and that was addressed in the interview today. It's a real shame for him, because when he plays and he's fit, I think he can be like the tidal wave in the middle that can switch the flow of the ball, and he makes mistakes here and there. He's certainly not my favourite player in the squad. That was a bit blunt. He's a good player, but I think now and then he can produce moments of magic in the middle. And it's a shame if he was to put out a performance like that, again for us in future. It's a shame we've got to wait to see if he can put that performance in for us, because he has played. He's played brilliantly. He played brilliantly against Spurs. He's played brilliant in a few games, and I think it's a very, very big shame for him. He's going to miss out on a lot, and obviously that puts you. Injuries are always going to put you further back in the pecking order. Having to come back from injuries. Smith Rowe, like I said before in the previous video, is the kind of player that needs games, needs game time. So it's a shame for players that have to sort of suffer that and then sit on the sidelines, and it must be very frustrating for the players. I love to see the fact that he's fired up for it. Though I think it's great that he really wants to win it, and I think we should treat this competition as silverware, and that's how I'm going to base it. I used to think the League Cup was sort of a no cup and nothing cup, but it's a competition. It's a competition we want to win, and we really want to see if we can push ourselves this season to see how well we can do. So why not? What better place to start than the League Cup? And Nketiah as well is a danger man in the League Cup. I've been to a fair few League Cup games, and Nketiah's name keeps popping up on that score sheet. So I was at a game, and me and my boy was really hungry, went and got him a burger, and we sort of got the burgers, went to go back out, and he scored, and we actually missed one of Nketiah's goals. That was against Sunderland, I believe. And so I still give my boy stick for that now, making me miss the goal, and he always shakes his head at me, because I still give him stick now, and that was obviously last season. Sort of midway through the season. So but Nketiah, I think Nketiah is a threat in it, and he always does well in the League Cup. I'm not going to go on about his hat-trick too much, because everybody knows how great that was. Well deserved. it was lovely to see all the write-ups about him, you know, being at Arsenal so young, and then now he's getting hat-tricks at the Emirates, and that's the kind of thing you love to see, you know. It's the same with Saka. You see Saka, pictures of him as a youngster in the Arsenal kit, you know, a young kid, and then you've got a side-by-side photo of that, and then next to it you've got him with the captain's armband on. That kind of stuff is just magical. That's without sort of going off about, you know, going over the top with our love for Saka again. That thing in itself is lovely to see, you know. So that's absolutely fantastic. I think it's going to be difficult for us. West Ham have got a hell of a squad, and the talking point is always going to be Declan Rice. I was actually considering if I needed to bother mentioning it before the game, but I suppose, you know, Declan Rice, West Ham, huge history, you know, a cup winner with them. I think he'll get a good reception. As an Arsenal fan, I'd kind of like him to score. You know, yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting game for him, and he's obviously going to be the focal point. I think, regardless to whatever commentator we hear, whether it's on the, you know, on the radio or on the Arsenal app, I think Rice is going to take up, you know, sort of 50% of the commentary, and there'll be a ton of talk about him, you know. But I hope he plays. He should be playing. I mean, there's no reason he shouldn't be, you know. And I hope he plays well. I hope he plays for the badge, and I hope he plays, you know, plays as good as he can for us, same as he would for West Ham. He was fantastic for West Ham, and I've got a few friends that still, you know, respect him highly, as you know, as they should. So yeah, I hope we get to see, you know, Rice in the middle doing a good job for us, as he has done this season, and as he has done as he did for West Ham for many years, you know. So love from two London clubs is a bit unusual. You don't often hear that kind of thing. I mean, Adebayor is never going to be the most loved. William Gallas going between Tottenham, Chelsea and Arsenal. I think there's going to be quite a lot of fan beef with him, and the game where he sort of threw a fit and got angry back in the day and sort of threw his toys out of the pram and sat on the floor, you know, with the captain's armband on. That always sticks in my mind. Peter Cech going to Arsenal. I think Peter Cech he's still loved at Chelsea, isn't he? But yeah, so that whole London club jumping thing is always a bit interesting. You never know quite. I mean, the West Ham fans, I think they'll back their man. I think they'll back Declan Rice, you know, but you never know. There might be the odd fans, like, you know, calling him a traitor and a Judas. We saw that, you know, with Sol Campbell back in the day. Of course, that was a bit different though. Him and Sol Campbell, so Mr. Wenger meeting up with Sol Campbell, and then Sol Campbell obviously quoted saying he wanted to win the league at White Hart Lane, so he went to Tottenham, and I think that is a defining point of history between Arsenal and Tottenham, you know. So sort of gone off on a tangent talking about, you know, clubs jumping ship in London, players jumping ships in London. So yeah, went off on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah. So I'm saying Arsenal will do well. I could see it being a tricky one, but I think Nketiah's got another goal or two in his locker, as the League Cup is his thing. So I'm going to say a possible victory, but it'll be a difficult game, regardless to what squad we put out and regardless to who we use. But yeah, that's my little chat about the press conference, and the Arsenal-West Ham game is coming up soon. So tomorrow. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. If you have, like and subscribe, and I will just keep making Arsenal content. This is the thing I like talking about more than anyone, more than anything. Sorry. So this will be me from now on. So if you enjoy the content, you've got a comment, you've got a thought, you've got an opinion. If you're a West Ham fan that doesn't want Rice there, can't stand the sight of him, you know, if you want to have a chat about players jumping ship in the comments, whatever it is, I appreciate it regardless, you know. So yeah, thank you very much. Come on, you Gunners. See you guys soon.